It is 2 o'clock in the morning and you are currently clinging to the microscopic sliver of mattress left at the very edge of your bed. Your blanket has been entirely commandeered, and a heavy rhythmic warmth is pressed directly against your spine or perhaps sprawled horizontally across your ankles. Your dog is taking up 80% of the space, leaving you perfectly uncomfortable, yet you find yourself freezing mid-turn just to avoid waking them. We tend to shrug this off as a simple desire for comfort, a lazy habit, or a quest for body heat, but that casual assumption completely misses the profound reality of what is actually happening. Your dog did not end up in your bed by accident, nor are they simply being clingy. Every single night, your pet is making a calculated, multi-millennium evolutionary and neurochemical decision that alters their biology and yours. If you think they are just looking for a soft place to rest, the actual science reveals a hidden language of survival and deep psychological trust that will change how you look at your sleeping dog forever. To truly understand why your dog seeks out your mattress, we have to look at how their brain processes security, a mechanism that researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest have mapped with startling clarity. By observing canine behavior under the Ainsworth-Strange situation framework, a psychological test originally designed to evaluate human infants, scientists discovered that dogs relate to their owners in the exact same way a toddler bonds with a mother. They display the identical triad of attachment behaviors, proximity seeking when stressed, intense separation distress, and immediate reunion calm. The research delivered a definitive anchor statistic revealing that 61% of dogs are securely attached to their owners, matching the exact percentage found in human children. When the sun goes down and the house falls dark, a dog enters their most vulnerable state. By actively choosing to sleep pressed against your skin, your dog is bypassing every primitive survival instinct that commands them to stay alert, communicating through their physical presence that you are quite literally the safest entity in their entire world. This choice kicks off a profound biological feedback loop that completely rewrites the chemistry of both your brains while you rest. According to landmark research published in the journal Science by researchers at Azabu University in Japan, humans and dogs share a unique neurochemical pathway powered by oxytocin, often called the bonding molecule. It functions through an intricate gaze and touch loop. When your dog looks at you, your brain releases a surge of oxytocin, which prompts you to look back or touch them, triggering an identical oxytocin spike in the dog's brain. What makes this extraordinary is the evolutionary contrast, because this chemical loop does not activate between humans and wolves, even if those wolves were hand-raised by humans from birth. When you allow your dog into your bed, even just 10 minutes of physical contact before drifting off drastically plummets your levels of cortisol, the primary human stress hormone, while doing the exact same for your pet. You are essentially using each other's presence to quiet your sympathetic nervous systems, physiologically prepping both of your bodies for deep, restorative sleep. This deep neural wiring is not a recent development, but rather the echo of a story written 15,000 years ago, long before the invention of agriculture, writing, or permanent cities. Picture an ancient landscape where the night was pitch black, a fragile campfire flickered, and wild wolf silhouettes lurked at the very edge of the darkness, drawn to the scraps of human hunters. Over generations, a radical transformation occurred, beautifully illustrated by a 14,000-year-old prehistoric burial site found in Germany, where researchers discovered an early human hunter buried alongside a young, sick dog that had been carefully nursed through 5 weeks of lethal canine distemper before its death. Humans were dedicating precious resources to keep a non-human companion alive, and the reason lies hidden inside canine chromosome. 6. Modern geneticists have found that dogs carry specific genetic insertions for extreme hypersociability, the identical genetic markers associated with Williams-Beuren syndrome in humans, which wolves completely lack. Humans did not just domesticate dogs to guard camps. We literally rewrote their DNA over millennia to ensure they would feel an undeniable biological need for human presence. This ancient drive creates a bizarre contradiction when it meets modern medical data. Statistics from the Mayo Clinic show that dogs objectively disrupt human sleep cycles, causing micro-awakenings throughout the night as they shift, bark in their dreams, or take up too much space. Yet, despite this objective disruption, psychological data from a study conducted at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland shows that pet owners subjectively report feeling significantly more rested, secure, and calm when sleeping with their dogs. This paradox is explained by a phenomenon known as heart rate variability co-regulation. When a deeply bonded dog rests beside you, its autonomic nervous system begins to synchronize its rhythm with yours, matching breathing patterns and calming erratic heart rates. If an unfamiliar human or a stranger were to climb into your bed, your nervous system would spike into high alert, triggering a subtle fight or flight response. Only a bonded dog can step into your personal space and instantly trigger a state of biological tranquility that overrides the physical inconvenience of a crowded mattress, because this nightly ritual is anchored so deeply in their biology. A sudden shift in this behavior is something you can never afford to ignore. If your dog has spent years sleeping at your side and suddenly retreats to the floor, the living room, or a distant corner, it is never a random preference. This sudden withdrawal serves as an urgent red flag for two specific conditions, the first being hidden physical pain. A reluctance or refusal to jump up onto the bed is often the very earliest detectable sign of osteoarthritis or silent joint deterioration, as the impact of landing or the effort of climbing becomes too agonizing for them to bear. Even more critical is the warning sign of cognitive decline. 35% of dogs over the age of 8 develop canine cognitive dysfunction, essentially the canine form of dementia. This condition systematically destroys their internal circadian rhythm and spatial memory, leaving them pacing, disoriented in the dark, and unable to recognize the bed as their traditional safe haven. If that nightly contact suddenly vanishes, your dog isn't just changing habits, they are quietly asking you for help when you crawl into bed tonight and find yourself shoved to the outer 4 inches of your mattress. Take a look at the sleeping form beside you and reframe the frustration entirely. Your dog did not end up there out of laziness or a simple desire for a soft cushion. Out of every person, every scent, every location, and every comfortable surface available to them, their ancient genetics and their neurochemistry drove them to select you as their ultimate protector. They are resting their life completely in your hands. Drop a comment below and tell me, what percentage of the bed does your dog take up tonight? While this nighttime behavior reveals how your dog trusts you when their eyes are closed, it pales in comparison to the hidden neuroscience behind what is happening when they look directly at you. The specific reason your dog stares into your eyes while you eat, sit, or speak triggers an even more mind-bending neurochemical reaction that completely alters the hierarchy of the animal kingdom.